MHU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MHU.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Lion Coaches Show. Stuart Jolley, along with Lion head football coach Tim Clifton. Coach, a good number of us journeyed down to watch that Lenoir-Rhyne game over the weekend, and our guys played their tails off.
Yeah, we played extremely hard. I thought we went out and we as I told them, you got to accept the challenge, and we did, and it was a challenge. And I thought we put ourselves in position there with about 8 minutes left because we got behind in the first half, and at halftime we just said we're going to close it to one score going into the fourth quarter. And then now when you close it at one score, you give yourself a chance to win. But I thought our guys played extremely hard. I thought they went into really a tough place to play and played well. We didn't execute as well as we wanted to execute. We didn't catch the ball as well as we wanted to catch it, and as well as we caught it all year. And then defensively, I thought we played extremely hard and made some really good plays. We gave up one big play, and but when you play them, you got that's when they're ranked in the top 20, is because they're really good, and it was their first home game. We knew it'd be a really, I thought, great environment to play in. And,
wonderful! Absolutely.
Kids went after it and played as hard as you expect them to play. And then talking to one of them this morning, one of the vets, he said, Coach, I know we didn't execute as well as we should have, he said, but it sure is fun watching everybody play hard and watching our teammates really get after it. And we did, the mistakes against people that are ranked in the top 20, you got to really cut them down. But I thought we did some really good things against them and played extremely hard. And the one thing you ask your players is to give you great effort. And they did. They gave us great effort.
LR has been a tough place to play for as long as I can remember, certainly as long as you've been head coach. Anytime you go down there, I think they call it between the bricks. It is a interesting, challenging environment to play in there in Moret Stadium, but your group of players, and I know that goes back to the prep by the coaches, there was no intimidation whatsoever.
No.
They came out, they fired up, they were ready to go. So much so, we were scoreless after the end of the first quarter, which that doesn't happen too often down there, that LR doesn't get on the board in quarter number one.
Yeah, and I thought we executed some things, and we held them for the first three plays there, and then we got a penalty, but the penalty was really our fault. We weren't punt safe. And we weren't going to rush. And one of the guys that's not on punt return, he just went ahead and gave great effort. And we got a penalty, but then we stopped them right after that. And, I thought we just kept anteing up. And like I told our guys, we left 21 points off that board. We should have had 21 and a half. I don't know how many they should have had, but they had 17. But we got down there and didn't score, and we dropped a couple of balls. And if we catch, it's touchdowns. And then we dropped a chance for a pick six for a touchdown. I mean, it could have very easily. I just felt like, as we told them at halftime, we played really hard, and we've executed some spots. But we can do better, and we went out in the second half, and I thought our guys, just kept getting after it and kept playing. And sometimes when you're behind at the end, a team can run it and just gas you but our guys, they fought till the end, and I thought we competed all the way to the end of the game.
There was, at least from my standpoint, up in the stands, and I think the rest of the fans would echo it, there was not a lull in our intensity. And we talked about that after the first home game here, that we had that lull. But no, we came out certainly ready to maintain a level of intensity, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, I was proud of the way we went at it, and the way our players went at it. I thought we had good prep. I thought our game plan was good. I think we can do a better job as coaches and as players, execute a little better. All of us could. We didn't execute as well as we wanted to execute, but man, I mean, we went in there and got after them, and that's just and that's what you got to do. And you got to go in the fourth quarter against people like that and have a chance to win. And going into the middle of the fourth quarter, we were one score from that thing.
Talked a little bit about execution from a fan standpoint. We don't know, by and large, the average fan doesn't know what goes into to working on that when it doesn't play out the way you would like to, because again, you said we left 3 TDs at least and had hands on the ball. It's just sometimes those catches are made, sometimes they're not. Sometimes you get it to a receiver, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you can hold on to it in a crowded pile of very large football players, and sometimes you don't. From a coaching perspective, though, Tim, what happens? What do you do with a team with players? And I'm sure they've already, in their own mind run some things through, but how do you get past that, or what do you call into focus?
Well, after each week you have to close the game. Whether you win or lose, you got to close it. I think I've said before, the NFL is better. Those guys are better at closing a week when it's over. And I mean, you said we knocked the ball loose with 8 minutes left, and we're down 1 score. We knock it loose and dive for it, and the guy that goes for it has got a cast on with a broken wrist, and the cast hits the ball, and next thing you know, they got a first down, and but he went after it as hard as he could go.
Oh, absolutely.
After it, and we hit the guy and knocked it loose, and that's what you want to do at that time period. We just scored and cut it to 1 score, and then you got to execute. We got to execute a little bit better on the goal line. We had one time we didn't execute as well, and but you just you go into the next week and you just start working again, and you prepare for the next game. And our guys have made those catches all year, so you go back and do the things you do and keep working on it. And there are times that you're not going to catch it as well, but our receivers have played extremely well this year, and they've made some great catches. We've had some unbelievable catches this year. I mean, catches you wouldn't think anybody can make, and we made some Saturday that probably we shouldn't have made. So, but I thought our guys on both sides of the ball competed. I thought they played extremely hard, and then the chips, they got to fall where they fall. But we've got to we'll do a better job of executing. Now the team getting ready for Newberry is, I think it's no different than getting ready for Lenoir-Rhyne. I mean, they beat Lenoir-Rhyne, so and I think Newberry year in and year out in the last 10, 12 years, I think they've had as good of players or better than anybody in the league, or as good as anybody in the league. So they're really, really talented. But and we've got to match that intensity again. We did against Wise, and we did against LR, and you get about 3 of those a year that you just match unbelievable intensity, and we've got to do it again coming up Saturday.
Well, and I think another thing that factors in, I thought about this on the drive back up the mountain, is for a significant number of your players, that was the first official regular season conference road game since 2019.
Yeah, I mean, we
did that thing in the spring, whatever that
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
but this was back to regular South Atlantic Conference schedule.
Yeah, and traveling and playing and going in an environment. That's a tough environment to play in. Trying to get to the locker rooms is tough as trying to play.
Yes, it is. You got to go through the crowd, ladies and gentlemen.
And to get back on the field. I mean, we got back on the field. We left it with right at 6 minutes left, and we're not even in the stadium with 2 minutes and 38 seconds, left to start the second half. So it's a tough place to play, and they do a good job with that environment. But I think we played them since I've been here. I think we're like 18-11 against those guys, or something of that nature.
Absolutely, yes.
And we beat them over there over the years. So, it was a great environment. It was a great place to play. It was a great experience for our guys. And you just hate to come up just a little bit short. But that was a heck of a football game, and it was tight to the end.
When you look at things coming into that contest, LR was already nationally ranked, but then they were able to move up some notches. And I thought it was interesting. Wingate moved up in national rankings. They moved up 3 spots to number 10. The Bears moved up 1 spot to number 16. Bulldogs moved up. They didn't even play.
Yeah.
That's a pretty darn good trick.
I mean, sometimes that happens, I mean, it's based off.
Tells you what happened in the top 10.
Yeah, and it's based off strength of schedule, and it's really right now in the league we should have Wingate should be ranked, and LR should be ranked, and Newberry should be ranked.
They're getting. I think I saw they got half a dozen votes or so for the to be in the top 25.
Yeah,
and that's very legitimate voting based upon some clips I've seen from that LR Newberry matchup.
Yeah, and sometimes head to head doesn't always give you the advantage, even if you win. But I think Newberry, they're as talented as anybody in the country. I think, they're going to play a lot of guys. They played, and one of the games I looked at today, they played 25 guys on defense. I mean, they were rolling them left and right, and guys going in and out, and they got a lot of depth, and I think that's what gives them a huge advantage going into the fourth quarter. I think LR's the same way. They have a lot of depth that gives them some advantages as you go into late in the game.
And particularly one of those things when late in the game and the game's close.
Yeah,
it makes a huge difference.
That's right.
It really does. Quick recap on scoring, and then as Coach says, we'll put it away. We do not have highlights for you coming up between segments, but we'll step away and then we'll be back. But quick reminder how things played out between the bricks in Hickory. Into the first half of action, LR was up 17-0. I will say there have been times in which the maturity level may not have been there, and some of our guys might have gotten near the panic button and leaned on it a bit. Not so with this year's squad.
No,
they came out very focused, 8-7 in terms of the third period of play, 79 yards, quick. I think under 3 minute scoring drive, if I remember correctly, which is exactly what you need to do. You come out and score with that, and then again, 8-7, the fourth quarter of play. So you take that second half. Mars Hill put 16 points on the board. LR puts 14 points on the board. It was that big second quarter that had some plays that, very simply, they could have gone either way.
That's right, and I think that's where you got to play 4 quarters. In the second quarter, but I thought we played extremely well and in all of it. But the second quarter, they had a little bit of advantage on some things, and we didn't execute as well as we had executed in the first quarter, and we didn't execute as well as we did in the third and fourth quarter. But coming out of halftime, and I thought we did exactly what we said we wanted to do. We went down and scored, and we got, as time went, we got it to one score, and we even knocked the ball loose. So we did some things we needed to do. And now you just got to play. You play guys like that. You got to play complete. You got to play 4 complete quarters. But I thought, I thought they played extremely hard. I thought it was physical. It was one of those games like you used to see a few years ago where so much of the game's played on grass now and everybody's running around. That game there was some times it was played in between the trenches.
Yes, it was.
And there was some
our place
shots.
Sometimes in the dirt or the mud.
There was some shots taken in that game by both sides, and guys really getting after it. And we came up a little short. They came with their game, and I thought we came with ours.
Urzua, Jimmy had a pretty good game, 394 yards. I look at the head-to-head matchup against Willingham, and Willingham, I don't know how I guess technically you say he is a senior in year number 6 because of the COVID edition, or I don't know if they've ever decided on title for those people, but certainly a veteran quarterback down from Lenoir-Rhyne. He was perfect on 22 of 40 for 287 yards, but on the Mars Hill side of the football and things, Jimmy was 32 of 65 for 394 yards. So in the QB matchup, the nod went to Mars Hill, and he, if you were at that game, the sideline is rather close. So he was able to find the bricks very quickly in some cases. Coach, you mentioned the breakdown with Lenoir-Rhyne over the years. At Hickory in the last 20 plus years, they lead us 17-11. Up here, Mir Stadium, we lead them 13-8. And then if you take the conference record overall and through, I think 1970s through 2021, 25 wins for Lenoir-Rhyne, 24 wins for Mars Hill. That's why it's always a good series. Yeah,
it's a great series. I mean, like I said, over 28 years, 28 times, we've got the advantage, and but it's always been a great series. Every year it's a great game, and our kids, they went in with the utmost confidence. I felt like going in, we could win it. I
Absolutely.
Knew it was going to be hard. We knew it was going to be a challenge, but we felt like going in, we could win the football game. And we came up a little short, but I think we gave a great effort.
We're going to step away, and then we'll be back with the second part of the Lion Coaches Show right after this.
Mars Hill University, helping you move your mountain.
Mars Hill University gives me plenty of degrees to choose from.
At MHU, I get the attention I deserve.
MHU keeps me close to home, and there's tons to do in the mountains.
Over 60 courses of study, small class settings, a breathtaking campus. These are just a few examples of how MHU can help you start moving your mountain. Visit us today at mhu.edu. Mars Hill University, education that moves mountains.
I just did not have a lot of stability.
I was facing foreclosure.
Not working at all, didn't have any money.
I could not go to school and work, so I found Mars Hill.
The experience here has been so wonderful.
It's been amazing.
I was able to have the full-time hours without the full-time load.
They are just incredibly supportive.
And Mars Hill is very affordable.
Mars Hill University Adult and Graduate Studies, education that moves mountains.
I will be the first in my family to graduate with my bachelor's degree.
Welcome back to part number 2 of the Lion Coaches Show. Tim, we were looking at all the different games over the weekend, and there were, I think, some surprises in the South Atlantic Conference, as there is always the case. And then there were some, you'd expect it to go this way. UVA-wise, they put 33 points on Carson Newman, as the Eagles are only able to get 7 in that contest. Newberry 24-19 over Tusculum. The Catawba-Wingate game, we talked about that briefly. That game was canceled due to COVID protocols. Mars Hill, LR 3116. Thought this was interesting. Barton 45, Limestone 7. But I think back to the spring, you never know what the player combination is.
No, and with COVID, you don't know. I mean, we played early in the year with the first game of the year, with 4 starters out on defense, and then we played the next week without any kickers. And I know Limestone
We believe in variety.
Yeah, and I know Limestone played without their quarterback. I didn't see him anywhere in the stats, so you never know who's going to be in this thing, and as far as COVID goes, and you don't know who's going to be out. I mean, I was totally shocked when I saw Wingate and Catawba wasn't going to play. I thought that shocked me, but Pembroke didn't play early in the year. Their game got canceled, and they picked up Finley, which is a heck of a team to pick up.
That's not somebody you want to pick up.
No. Of all
Wave
teams.
at them, don't pick them up.
Yeah. So, I don't know. You just don't know. I think getting through this thing, I think the people that can, and it's always injuries. You're going to have injuries, and the team that can stay healthy, I think is going to have the advantage every week. And the team that can stay away from COVID. And now you got to all of a sudden you're adding injury and COVID. So there's a tough road there, and teams some teams are going to get hit with it, and it worries us. It worries the daylights out of us trying to stay away from it, because what's happening now is so many kids are thinking, well, we're immune to it now. But you're not. The new strand and the contact tracing is what really gets you. And you just don't know. You could all of a sudden have 20 guys to contact tracing, and if they're the right guys in certain positions and all, you're going to have issues lining up and trying to play. And the most important thing right now for everybody is to try to get through this and continue to play, because I think it's huge for and it's very important for each institution in our league to be able to play. I think that's almost a must. You can't avoid it, just like Catawba and Wingate, but somehow you want it to be a high priority that you can get to the next game to play based off of winning the battle against COVID.
And I think so many teams, institutions, in a lot of cases thought that, hey, we're past this, but we're not. So that's something, ladies and gentlemen, can keep an eye on, because that is already beginning to be a factor in how the league games are playing out. Now, looking ahead to this Saturday, we have the 1 o'clock kickoff against Newberry, the Wolves. Every now and then I have to arrange that in my brain, because the longest time today we're not the Wolves.
That's right.
Barton and Carson Newman at 2 o'clock, Lenoir-Rhyne, UVA Wise, and then Tusculum at Wingate under the lights at 6 p.m. Newberry, over the years, has been a team that either they have been really, really good or they've struggled. And they're in one of those really, really good phases. They've got a new athletic facility that they've been able to add in there. We can now say we have one too.
They have a new one, a new weight room.
And it makes a difference. Now, here's just a question from left field, right field, anywhere out there toward the cheap stands. When you have a school like Newberry, and you are in proximity to larger D1 schools, is that a significant plus for your program?
Well, I think it gives you an opportunity to try to get some guys that are leaving different programs, and you're sitting there close to them. Mm-hmm. And but the guys that are really the high-level D1 guys, you're not going to recruit them. You can pass by and say, now, if you're unhappy. But with the portal the way it is today, and everybody sending out signals and sending signals to high school coaches, and high school coaches sending signals to a kid, it's really a deal where you don't really want to be in college football. You really don't want to be where we are in that area. But they have Todd Knight's done a great job there.
Yes.
They have really been one of the top teams every year, and with us, it's always a tough game, and it usually comes down to what's crazy is last 2 or 3 times it's come down to the last drive, the last play, the last second. So it's. For us, it's a big challenge there, and I think they are. I mean, they beat LR. I mean, that's
ended that 18-game conference winning streak.
Yeah, and they beat them, and that to me speaks all the volume. That's really people. How good are they? Well, they beat LR. And LR's ranked in the top 20, and they beat them. So. And they beat Tusculum at Tusculum, which is really, really hard to do. I mean, not many people go into Tusculum and beat Tusculum at Tusculum. So they're a really good football team. They got a lot of speed, got a lot of depth, and they defensively, they've got a lot of guys that can run and play. And offensively, their quarterback, he had really a busted play against Tusculum on a big third down play, and he just took the snap, looked one way, and started moving. Next thing you know,
it work.
Yeah, he's 30 yards down the field, and you can see Tusculum sideline going, "You got to be kidding me," But he's just really a phenomenal athlete, and you got to get him on the ground, and they're really good at running back. And the one receiver. He really he was the difference in the LR game when they threw it in the air, because he went up and got it and took it away from them several times. And so it's the way it always is when you play them. They've got really good talent, and they do a good job of coaching them. So again, it's another challenge.
Offensively, what's their greatest threat? The run game or taking it to the air?
Yeah, I think their quarterback just scares you. He's so, and then they bring the other one in.
Particularly, he takes those busted plays and scampers 31 yards.
And then they bring in the other kid, and he's a big thick kid, and they run the football with him. So they play number games, and they outnumber you because their quarterback can run so many plays. And then they're really good at the wide receiver. That one is, he is number 2 is a really, really good player, and he can make plays. And so offensively, and they've got a talented running back he has phenomenal speed, which they seem to always have. So then on defensively, they're just so big up front, and they run extremely well. So they create problems with their front on defense, and then their skill guys create problems, and their offensive line is huge. So they have what you want to have in so many areas to be an outstanding football team and to have a great year.
And it should be an exceptional matchup here in Mears Stadium. 1 o'clock kickoff against the Wolves of Newberry. Coach Clifton, I'm sure he noticed as much as I did. We had a very good contingency that traveled with us.
We did.
Down to Hickory, and we'd like to add to that here at home so that we have one of those distinct home advantages. And for Lenoir-Rhyne, they have designed that over the years. It has not always been the case, but last 10 to 20 years, they've really focused on that. And it makes a difference.
Yeah, the way they do it, it does make a difference. And the way they structure it and can structure it. Their stadium is conducive to what they can structure and how they structure it, but a a lot of places you go, it's tough, and it's a trap, and you got to be ready for the trap. And we usually play extremely well at home, and we usually have an advantage at home, just like you want to have. So we're looking forward to getting back home. I hated to leave Mir Stadium. We've been home those 3 games, and you just hated to get on a bus and travel to play one. But we're looking forward to coming home, and we're looking forward to having a great crowd, and we're looking forward to our fans getting into it and giving us an advantage that we need.
We'll have that for you at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Come join us if you can. If not, we'll have all the live feeds on our MarsHillLions.com website, and you can follow it that way. And then next week, Coach Clifton and I will be back. We'll sum that up, and then we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming homecoming game against Barton, if I remember, and that will be a 1:30 kickoff. So we're 1 o'clock this week, and then we'll change that up just a bit for homecoming. For Lion head football coach Tim Clifton, I'm Stuart Jolley. So long for now.
Hey, MHU on 3. 1, 2, 3.
MHU.